Okay, very good. So, hello everyone, and welcome to today's Resco webinar. That's going to be about introduction to Woodford, the development or configuration and customization tool of Resco. My name is Ivan Stano, and today I'll be co-presenting with Rick McCutcheon. Thank you everyone for joining us today. We're really positively surprised by the number of people who registered and who actually attended today. It's a great number, and we're very thankful for that. So a few things that we prepared for you today before we cut to the chase and get to the actual demonstrations of both the mobile application and the Woodford customization tool. The webinar will be started by Rick. He will introduce the mobile landscape, talk a little bit about the mobile technologies, trends, the effect on CRM and business processes. Then I'll take over and first introduce new solutions that we will be releasing early next year, and they were first introduced last month at our annual conference called Resco.next in Amsterdam. Then we'll invite you to our event Resco.next 2018 in the US and talk a little bit more about that. That should be done very quickly. And then the most of the time we'll be spending demoing Resco. So first of all, we'll demo the mobile application, show you how the application looks like, how it works on an iPad. And then I'll switch to the Woodford configuration tool and introduce the tool, show you how easy it is to use the tool, and we'll go through a few examples. First of all, we'll show how to configure a dashboard, and then we'll go through a process of adding a new entity, designing a mobile view and mobile form. And then at the end, of course, room for your questions, and hopefully we'll be able to answer most of those. One more quick note, you are all in listen-only mode. That means your microphones are not allowed to be used. That's actually the setup to make sure that the presentation goes smoothly and well. But please feel free to use the GoToWebinar controls on the menu. You should see the section questions, where you can type in your questions, and we'll get to all of those at the end of today's webinar. So with that, I'll give the word to Rick to introduce himself.
Thanks, Yvonne. Good afternoon, good morning, everybody. My name's Rick McCutcheon. I'm a Dynamics CRM MVP, and I just finished a 2-week roadshow with Yvonne and the Resco team going across Canada for our Collaborate User Group roadshow, and I got a sneak preview of what you're going to see today. So they've got some really exciting stuff happening from a development platform, from really taking advantage of that Azure Microsoft Cloud, and what the customer base in our Dynamics world is looking for. So the feedback we got on the tour from both Microsoft, the user group community, and partners was very positive. So I think you're in for a real treat today. So I know a lot of people on the call today, but for those who don't know me, I have a business where I help companies with their strategy around CRM planning and really around developing the roadmap for that the change many organizations are going through when we talk about sort of digitizing the sales process and the customer buying process. So it's very exciting when we see sort of mobility being added to that, and I'll talk a little bit about how we add that to what I have to offer. Okay, so let's just kind of round. Whenever I talk about CRM,
yeah, I'll introduce myself.
Okay, well. So Ivan, yeah. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Yeah, so just very quickly, I'm currently Resco's COO. I'm with Resco for over 9 years. I reside in Boston, in Greater Boston area, as I oversee the operations of our North American company. I've been involved throughout the 9 years in various departments of Resco, from marketing through sales, working with partners, etc., etc. I really like to talk to our customers and partners about different mobile technologies, what we can offer, or how they can best address different challenges they face with mobility. And in my spare time, I like to be kind of active. I love to play tennis, go for a run. I like to cook and enjoy good food. So with that, I'll hand it over to you back, Rick, and the floor is yours to talk about all things mobility.
Okay, thank you. So in my Planning for Success workshops, I do this with organizations such as Extreme CRM. I do it with the User Group Association, which is CRM UG. So I do a lot of teaching around this. And whenever I talk about CRM, I don't talk about it as a technology as much, but more as a sort of methodology for managing your business ecosystem. So when we talk about customer relationship management, I look at it as a business philosophy that lets you know and manage your business ecosystem better, allows you to share information more thoroughly, and interact more completely. This can only be achieved by creating a system that integrates people, process, CRM, and related technologies. The key here is those related technologies. And the work I do with the user group, I really see that the companies that move forward with CRM and sort of embrace it as a culture within their group, they really take advantage of applications that are related to CRM like Resco. So I'm very excited to see about a lot of the new development platform. And one of the things that we talk about at the user group is that CRM is forever. CRM is not a project that you kind of start and finish. Once we embed CRM and sort of the culture of CRM into your organization, there's so many tools, there's so many things you can do to enhance your business processes that companies who embrace CRM sort of keep it going on an ongoing basis. And I'll talk a little bit more about that as we go. So I talked about ecosystem there. And really, ecosystem is probably said best by Rosabeth Moss-Cantor, who's a professor at Harvard. She said, ecosystem conveys the idea that all the pieces of an economy come together in particular places, that the strength and interactions determine prosperity and economic growth. Think of it as a garden where you need fertile soil, seeds, and other ingredients to make things grow. And this is really what we're seeing in the world of CRM today, is that companies are using CRM to manage that whole ecosystem. So it's not just a Salesforce automation application anymore. You got customer services, you got channel, you've got constituents, you got a lot of people, and you're managing all these different relationships. And mobility is playing even a bigger part of that today, as the information that's in CRM systems is so much better and it's such high quality today that remote people on the road want to be able to access it very easily at their fingertips all the time. So we're all kind of feeling this right now, and it's the worldwide growth of CRM and related technologies. And Gartner forecasts that this year the market will be $36.4 billion, which is a big, big market. And another thing that's really interesting is Gartner also predicts that CRM spending will outpace ERP spending for the first time in 2017. So this whole thing about managing relationships is becoming, far more important. And here's the key, I think. It's really what Nucleus Research says, and every year I see Nucleus present at different conferences, and they study the ROI on CRM. And what they show now is, back in 2011, they said if you did CRM right, you could earn $5.60 for every dollar you spend. They now find it's up to $8.71. That's kind of great news for the CRM developers out there, the CRM practitioners that are on this call today. But also, why is it growing, and why are we getting a better ROI? So companies continue to make new investments in CRM to take advantage of new analytics, social collaboration, and mobility, right, and other capabilities. So again, for good reason, we can get a great ROI out of doing this. And I think we're seeing sort of the growth in Resco is a part of that. So whenever I'm working with companies and we have a CRM roadmap, I always like to show this iceberg start a CRM project, there's some software, some consulting, some hardware. We usually get it up and going. But on that roadmap, we've got to now show when are we going to deploy XRM applications, web integrations, portals, mobile solutions, data cleansing services, training. There's a whole bunch of things around it, and mobile's becoming even a greater piece of that and a more evident application within CRM. So as many of you know, I specialize in Salesforce automation. My company's full contact selling. So 90% of the time they're bringing me in to plan a Salesforce automation session. And I think this value proposition that I show in this next couple slides really talk about why you need to add mobility to your sales team. So this is a study done by Pace Productivity that shows that average rep will spend about 23% of their time selling and 77% of their time doing other stuff. And that other stuff is admin, order processing, accessing information, adding information, looking for information, takes away from selling time. So if a rep has a quota of $1 million a year and they reach their quota, according to this study, then each 1% of their time is worth $43,478. Well, if we can work with the sales team and eliminate admin time, eliminate looking for information, eliminate trying to get access to information when I'm on the road, and make it easier for that rep, and they can increase that selling time to 30 or 40%, look at the number they should be able to generate and what they sell. If we can move them from, $1 million a year producer to $1.7 million a year producer. And I think that's the name of the game that we're in when we look at CRM and we look at these applications around CRM, such as mobility. How can we make our people more effective and more efficient? And Resco can absolutely do that. So a couple of little quick studies that I pulled off the web. 90% of sales firms are on track to implement mobile technology. 70% of sales team executives are using mobile solutions with a positive ROI. So they're adding it to their their sales teams, and they're getting a positive ROI. In the last study, according to Mitel, sales reps that use mobility get a 35% increase in prospect visits. So when we see numbers like this, it makes a big, big difference. And we could go in, I could do a whole session on just that slide and how mobility will help a rep become more productive. But what I'm saying is, when you're putting your CRM roadmap together, make sure mobility is sort of front and center. And when I do planning with most companies, mobility is right down there. We put out basic CRM, ERP integrations. We do our marketing automation, and then we get to mobility. And this is where I'm going to turn it over to Ivan, because Resco is clearly the leader. He showed you some numbers earlier. He's going to show you some numbers coming up, just how many customers they have in this space. So they're truly the experts when it comes to mobile solutions for Dynamics 365. And you know what? Fairly soon, they're going to be the mobile leader for the Azure cloud. So, Ivan, over to you.
Thank you very much, Rick, and thank you for sharing these very interesting numbers. Very interesting, interesting future ahead of us. So let me just make sure that I have full control over the slides. Bear with me for just 2 seconds. And I think I'm good now. So thanks again. Let's start with a very quick introduction of Resco. As I know that of all the people who joined us today, there are some possibly new people who are not perfectly familiar with Resco. So just very quickly, we at Resco consider ourselves to be a leader in mobile offline CRM solutions, but in mobility in general, as we're doing it for over 17 years. So we started with really simple applications and different B2B tools and components that helped other companies to develop mobile applications. But for the last 10 years, we're really focusing on CRM. And we created our technology, which is now fully integrated with Microsoft Dynamics 365. You can find Resco technologies being utilized in more than 100 countries around the globe. We work very closely with partners, and as we understand, we cannot be present in every every city in every town of every country in the world. So we work officially with more than 500 partners around the globe, and together we were able to close our 1900 customer this year. It's a great number. We're very proud of it. At the same time, it's also our commitment to keep working even harder and better to make sure that we're providing the best mobile solution for all of our customers that can be found out there. These 1900 customers, they account for over 100,000 licensed users. So these are individual users who use Resco on their mobile devices. Some of them use one device, some of them use a combination of different devices. But it's a huge pool of people and a great number of different utilizations, use cases, and scenarios where Resco is helping the companies to be more productive and more efficient out in the field. Two more things very quickly. Resco is headquartered in a beautiful country in Eastern Europe called Slovakia. That's where I'm from as well, but we have offices outside of Boston as our customer base and partner base is in North America is growing substantially. So we decided to have a local presence in North American market. At the bottom of the screen, you can see some of those customers that also Rick mentioned that we work with. They vary from global multinational companies such as Heineken, Bridgestone, Mariel, Bayer Crop Science, etc., etc. But we also work with large and small and medium businesses as well. Good, so that's about us. I also promised that I will highlight very quickly some new solutions that we'll be releasing early next year, and we're very excited about those. Basically, the main story is that we'll be providing tighter integration with Microsoft Azure as a base platform for our technology. So in the future, you will see tighter integration with Azure services, things like Azure authentication, and the plan is to go deeper and deeper over the time. So on top of Azure will sit Resco Cloud platform. That's basically a new fancy name for our existing technology. That's the technology we've been working on for the past 10 years, and we're adding a lot of muscle into it. New functionality, new features, new functional modules and blocks that make the technology stand out when compared to other mobile technologies and mobile platforms. And then out of the cloud platform, there are the actual solutions that you might be familiar with. The first big group is the area of mobile sales and field service mobile application. If we have existing customers on the call, that's probably the solution by Resco that you use currently. So the mobile application optimized for your sales professionals or field service representatives. Mobile solution that is capable to provide all functionality around system entities, custom entities, bring dashboards, maps, navigation, email integration, etc., etc. For your mobile workforce. But we actually see a lot of potential for other more focused solutions and more laser-focused solution perhaps that can tackle certain very specific tasks and purposes that we see our customers trying to solve with Resco. And those are actually four that we foresee to be the most important or most popular around our user base, and here they are. So first of all, it's a route planner, a great functionality that allows people who travel on a daily basis to be more efficient when they're planning their days, and I'll talk about each of them a little more in a few moments. So here just very quickly. The second one is inspection, so an easy way to create surveys on the mobile or on the mobile device, collect all important information very quickly. The third one is a new concept, so the use of Resco as a rapid mobile application development platform. We believe that with the power of HTML5 and JavaScript, which is part of the Resco solution now, plus all the additional modules that accompany the solution, you're able to use Resco to create any type of business mobile application. And the last of the 4 new solutions is called City Smart Services. So solutions for municipalities, cities, governments who try to be more innovative and try to be more closer when they interact with their citizens in a new way. So each and every one in a little more detail. First, Resco inspections. You can see a quick screenshot from a designer of the new product that we plan to release in Q1 next year. The idea is to provide an option to create surveys very quickly. There will be a new mobile application released, and you will be able to find it on all corresponding app stores, so Apple App Store, Google Play Market, and Microsoft Store as well. And part of the solution will be a designer. That's the screenshot that you can actually see on the slide here. And the idea is that the user of Resco inspections doesn't need to be an administrator, so there are no admin keys required. If you're familiar with creating a PowerPoint presentation, or let's say an Excel, complex Excel sheet, you should be able to use Resco inspections and create your own survey on a mobile device with a set of questions that you define, set of answers, that those can be different type of questions and answers at the same time. And there will be the ability to go even deeper in terms of provide more complex, more complicated functionality if the need be. But the idea is to provide a powerful inspection tool that allows you to create surveys on a mobile device very quickly without the need to be a system administrator. So that's the first new solution that will be released in Q1. The second one is Route Planner. This is currently part of our main mobile solution, Resco Mobile CRM, the application for sales and field service representatives. So you might already be familiar with it. However, we see a great interest and a huge potential for this part of the package, and that's why we decided to make it a separate product. The roadmap plans to have it released in first half of the next year, and it will provide a combined functionality of map and calendar with the ability to create and build tour plans. So you'll be able to define all stops for your day. You'll be able to visualize them on the map. So provide visualization of data based on the geographical context, and you'll be also able to visualize time data. So you'll be able to see where your workers, where your users spend a lot of time, how much time they spend visiting the customers' sites, prospects, leads, etc., how much time they're spending on the road actually driving or traveling. So that's the next solution that will be released in first half of next year. The third one is Resco as a mobile application development platform. So we believe that our solution is powerful enough to provide you with enough tools, designers, and functionality to build general business mobile applications. So things like HTML5 and JavaScript that allow you to bring your custom functionality, custom UI, custom blocks, maybe some complex calculations, etc. That's already possible today. Another huge block is around maps and navigation that I just talked about today. Another module which is part of Resco already is auditing, so the ability to track the behavior of your users, to see what they actually do in the mobile application, in what entities they spend a lot of time, what records they're creating, and all that also with another dimension that comes with auditing, and that's to see where all those actions are being taken on the map. Another huge piece is security, also available today. So we understand that that security is always a crucial topic for mobile solutions, especially offline mobile solutions such as Resco. So that's part of the mobile application platform as well. And another new thing that will eventually become part of the mobile application development platform by Resco is inspections. So when you combine all these plus natural integration with Microsoft Dynamics 365, we believe that Resco will be a great, powerful platform to allow you to design and quickly configure different types of mobile business applications. Release for this one is set for Q1 next year as well. And the last one, the solution that is already available out there, and it has an individual website that you can see at the bottom of the screen. So if you just type citysmartservices.resco.net in your web browser, you will find all information about this new vertical solution of Resco Cloud platform targeting municipalities, governments, towns, cities, etc. So the idea is to provide the cities and municipalities with a solution that allow the actual citizens to interact with the city. First of all, it will be mostly about, or it is mostly about the option to report any incidents. So if there's non-functioning street light, if there's trash in the area where it's not supposed to be, if there's a broken bench, anything that goes wrong in your neighborhood perhaps, and you would like to report it to your municipality, you can use Resco solution for that. So there's an application for the actual citizens. Then for the municipality, there's a portal or something that we can call a management console, where the city can see all the incidents coming in, and they can assign those incidents to specific field service technicians who have their own version of mobile Resco mobile application. So they see all the work orders assigned to them, and they can go out and fix all the problems. So a new smart way for municipalities to provide better services to their customers. As mentioned, this was released in the end of October this year, and the solution is publicly available at citysmartservices.resco.net. One more piece of information before we get to the demos. Resco.next 2018, our annual conference, a two-day event that we'll be holding in March 14 and 15 in Atlanta, Georgia, for all of our North American partners and customers. But if there are people outside of North America who are interested in joining us, you're all very welcome. I believe this is the best way for all partners and also customers to learn anything and everything about Resco. We'll be having two tracks, technical track that will cover a lot of technical aspects of our solution, and the time of 2 days will allow us to go really deeply, provide hands-on labs, sessions, very technical sessions, and at the same time we will also provide a business track to cover, let's say, lighter technical sessions and more sessions towards functional users. There's also a plan to provide an extra day of technical workshops, so partners or individuals who are interested in learning a lot about Resco through a one-day technical workshop are invited as well, and we will provide a great valuable content for them. Very technical though. So March 14th, 15th, I hope I'll see many of you in Atlanta, Georgia for the Resco.next event. Good. So with that, let me move on to the main part. We are right in the middle of half time. So let me now talk about the introduction to Resco technology. So many of you, I believe, understand that Resco comes in two parts. So there's a mobile application. It's a native app that works on all major mobile platforms. So there's a native application for iOS devices, for Android devices, and for Microsoft Windows devices as well. So that's a native app. That's basically your starting point, your out-of-the-box solution, mobile solution that you can configure and customize to your needs and ideas. And in order to do all those configurations, the second part of the Resco technology is the configuration tool that we named Resco Woodford. So my two demos will actually cover both. And let's start with the mobile application first. Okay. I'll bring the mobile app running on my iPad. So I hope you can still see my screen. Here we go. This is the iPad version of the mobile application, and it looks more or less as the out-of-the-box version that is available on the App Store. Few very quick things around navigation and design of the application. So on the left-hand side, the section that, okay, let me see. I think it's a little bit frozen, so I'll just restart it. And it should work now. Yeah, I hope it works now for you too. It definitely works on my end. So just quickly again, on the left-hand side, I have the home menu of the application. So the section I'm scrolling up and down right now, that gives me a very quick access to all parts of the application that were provided for the mobile app. So at the top, you can see the dashboard. Underneath, I have some other items and entities as well. On the rest of the screen, right now, I'm showing a dashboard. So there you can see the actual content. At the very top, I have two important buttons. The one in the left upper corner, the one that I'm pointing to right now, that's the button that allows you to switch between online and offline mode very quickly and very easily. Just by tapping on that button, you can see the little X sign is gone, and that means I'm working in online mode right now. So if I decide to access accounts, you can see that it took probably 1-2 seconds to actually load the data, load the records from the Dynamics 365 server, but when in online mode, I'm working with real data in real time. When I lose connectivity, all I have to do is just tap on that same button and I can quickly change to offline mode, and I'll just work with the local database, so with local data that is part of my device. The other button at the top of the screen is this little circular arrow that allows me to actually sync the application with the CRM server. As you can see here, I provided the URL, which is our demo server at Resco. My username is a demo user and password. So the experience of logging into your Dynamics 365 organization through Resco is very similar to what you might be familiar with through connecting to your Dynamics CRM through a web browser. So it's about providing URL, username, and password. Okay, good. So first of all, I'll show you the dashboard and what you can do on the dashboard. So dashboard in the default configuration of my application provides 4 different areas. 2 charts at the top of the screen, one for orders, one for opportunities, and then I have 2 views, appointments, and leads at the bottom of the screen. All sections of the dashboard are fully interactive, so I can scroll the views up and down, and also the charts are fully interactive as well. So you can see the little labels, which are part of the orders chart. Those are interactive as well, so I can turn them on or turn them off on the go very easily. Also, I can bring the chart to full screen mode if I don't want to be disturbed by the other areas. To do that, all I have to do is actually just double tap on the header where it says orders, and I can bring that chart to full screen mode. Moreover, the chart can be changed, the chart type can be changed on the go just by tapping on the chart. You can see that in default we support up to 7 different chart types. And I can also slice and dice the data based on different fields through the drill down functionality. So when I tap on the none field here, I can pick up one of the fields here. So let's say country, and have the same data shown based on the country field. At this point, all my orders are coming from the US. When I just want to bring it to the default configuration, I hit the reset button right here. And when I tap on the back button in the left upper corner, I can move back to the default configuration of the dashboard. There are other parts of the application as well. As you can see, when I scroll down, I have access to accounts, contacts, orders, leads, and other entities as well. The point is, any entity that you would like to have on a mobile device, whether that's system entity or custom entity, can be easily added to the mobile application through the Woodford configuration tool. My first example of the Woodford tool will be how to actually configure a dashboard. So let's now switch to the Woodford tool. And I'll first show you some of the basic or introductory things in the Woodford tool, and then we'll change the dashboard. So this is how the Woodford tool looks like. This is the standalone version of the Woodford tool that I installed on my computer. The other option is to have Woodford tool integrated with your Dynamics 365 as a solution file. So then you will find basically this screen in your Dynamics 365 when you log in as a system administrator. So that's one of the main prerequisites for using Woodford tool. You must be a system admin to be able to use it. At the top of the screen, you can see the mobile projects menu. So right there at the top ribbon, the mobile project, actually that's our name for the new configuration of the mobile application. So you can easily create new mobile projects by clicking on the new button. You can check the properties or edit the existing mobile projects. And you can also do a lot of importing, exporting, cloning, etc. Then on the left-hand side, you have the administration menu. At the very top, I have mobile projects. That's what I'm showing on the main part of the screen right now. So here I see the overview of all mobile projects, so all different configurations of the Resco application based on the data and based on the Dynamics 365 server that I'm connected to via the Woodford tool. You can see there's a lot of them here. So some of them were created by my colleagues, some of them were created by myself for different reasons, for different user types, etc. The one that I'm using right now is called New Features Next, and I can tell that it's in use by this little icon next to it. It's a white arrow in a blue circle. That means that mobile project is active. You can see there are some mobile projects that are inactive, so you can see that red sign next to it, or some that have a little gray sign next to it. That means those were not published, so they're not available for the mobile users. So let's go into the mobile project that I'm using right now. So I double click on it and I'll open this mobile project so that we can start with our first example, and that is how to change a dashboard. So the mobile project is being loaded, and here I am in the mobile project right now. On the left-hand side, you can see all parts, all sections of the actual mobile application that I can configure and customize here. So just very quickly, if I go to the home section, that's the home menu that I was showing you in the application, the very left panel that I was sliding up and down, and gives me quick access to all parts of the mobile application. So the home section here in the middle of the screen, those are all the items that are already in the mobile application. On the right hand side, I have all the available items, so I can just easily drag and drop those on the home section and make them available for the mobile user. It's very simple configuration. Then underneath, I have access to the dashboard, and I won't save any changes on the home menu. So I'll go directly to the dashboard. That's where my first example is going to be all about. So in the dashboard section, you can see we have support for multiple dashboards, which is a great news for all the dashboard power users who like to have different dashboards shown at the same time, or the ability to quickly switch between dashboards in the mobile application. I'll open the first one, dashboard form. That's the one I'm using in the mobile application. And this is how the dashboard designer looks like. So you can see the designer shows two charts at the top and then two views at the bottom. If I just change quickly to the application, this is how it looks with real data in the app. So here are the two charts at the top and two views at the bottom of the screen. You can have more sections on the dashboard that can be easily set up here on the left-hand side. So you can have up to 16 different areas where you can put actual content. The content can be inserted here at the top of the screen. So you can see we have support for views, charts, and iframes as well. Iframe is basically a web browser window embedded into the dashboard. We, however, always recommend to think about the size of your mobile device's screen. Probably going with all 16 might be a little bit overwhelming for the user. From the experience, we think 4 is just about right. So my first example will be, I will remove the leads view, and I'll use that space for appointments. So I'll go with, instead of having 4 different contents, or I will have just 3. So I'll select the leads just like this, and I click on the delete button here at the top. I delete that section that's actually empty right now, so I can use it to add something new, or I can use that space for more for the existing content to be shown in a bigger or larger way. So my new dashboard will only show appointments at the bottom of the screen. So now the question, how do we actually push this change down to the mobile device and mobile application? And that's very simple and very user-friendly for the system admin or the user of the Woodford tool. So first we save all those changes, and now all we have to do is click on the publish button here in the top left corner. When I click on the publish button, what's actually happening is this changed or edited mobile project, these changes have been saved on the Dynamics 365 server in one of the Resco custom entities. And then as a user of the mobile application, I still see the old dashboard, but as soon as I synchronize the mobile application, I will get that change down to my mobile device. So what's happening now, the mobile application is first synchronizing the data, making sure that we always have the latest or most up-to-date records on the mobile device. At the same time, if there are any records that I create on a mobile device during the synchronization, those are synchronized with the Dynamics 365 as well. What's happening right now, I'm downloading the maps for offline purposes. So this synchronization is going to take a little longer than usual, but this is totally optional. Offline maps is actually something that we introduced this year, and it's a great new feature for all those users who really spend a lot of time in areas with very poor coverage or very poor reception. So you now have the option to bring maps in offline mode as well. So I apologize for this a little more time-consuming first thing. As soon as the offline maps are downloaded, as a user, I should get the message that the application was updated, and right after that, we'll have a look at the new dashboard. In the meantime, if there are any questions, I know there are some questions coming in, so please feel free to use the question section of the GoToWebinar or GoToMeeting and submit all those questions there. Okay, great. Here we are. So as I mentioned, as a user, I get this message that the application was updated. So I just hit OK, and let's have a look at the new dashboard now. So as I design it in the Woodford tool, you can see the leads view is now gone, and that part of the screen is now used for appointments. So as you could see, the dashboard configuration is very visual. I don't really need to know any code. It's all about a simple designer that allows me to redesign the dashboard and bring in the content that my users really need and work with on the daily basis. Cool. Second example, how do we add a new entity into the Resco application? So all new entities can be added in the Woodford tool. When I go to the bottom of the screen, you can see entities here, and I expand these little item entities, and now I can see all of the entities that are on the Dynamics 365. As I'm scrolling down, you can see that some of these entities are shown in full color, such as case, connection, contact, currency, discount, etc. That means these are already part of the mobile project. And then there are entities that are shown in kind of gray colors, such as article, address, campaign, case resolution, or competitor. That means these entities are available on the CRM side, but they're not part of the mobile application yet. So as an example, let's add a new competitor. So I click on this competitor entity here. All I actually have to do is click on the enable button at the top of the screen to make it part of the mobile application. You can see you can define a lot of things about how the data and how the entity behaves, permissions, mode, synchronization, etc., etc. And then I'll pick up a few fields that we will use in the application. So let's say city, country, street, zip code, and state, and that should be enough. I save this change, so we enabled the entity. We picked up several fields that we will use in the application. When I've done this, you can see now I can expand the competitor as well, and there are a number of things that you can do. So first of all, we will create a mobile view, and what I'm actually creating in the application now is this section that I'm moving right now. That's what we refer to as mobile view. So something like a list view that shows all the records in the entity. There are two options. I can use an existing view. I can import a view from Dynamics, so that can save me a lot of time, or I can create a mobile view from scratch. I'll have here an existing view, and this is how it looks like. So it's again a very simple designer. When I'll click here, this will include the name of the competitor. Underneath, I can add additional fields if I would like to. You can change the dimensions of those fields on the view. So everything can be done easily with your mouse. Or if you prefer to be very exact, you can use the properties section on the left-hand side, play with the anchor, style, colors, really define the size of the cells, etc. Let's say I'll keep my competitor view very simple. I'll just show the name. So I save and close the view. And the next thing that I will do is I have to define a form. The form needs to be created from scratch. And what I'm actually meaning by a form in the application is this very right panel. So where I actually show the content, the associated entities, the fields of specific record. And with Resco, we actually require you to create or design a form from scratch. And that's because many times our users use Resco on smartphones. The device's screen is very small, very limited. So we think it's for a good reason that you redesign the view for that specific a mobile use case. I have here one existing form that I created before to save some time. So you can see my form will consist of two tabs, General tab and Address tab. On the General tab, I placed all these fields, name, invalid, I remove, just like this. And this as well, this as well. So I'll just have 3 fields there. I can easily reorder them just with my mouse. And then on the Address tab, I'll have all fields that define address, street, city, country, and zip code. And again, you can reorder them. If you want to add new fields there, you can easily do that just by drag and dropping them from the right-hand panel on the actual form. When I'm done, I hit save and close. Now, one more thing we need to do before we publish the changes, and that's we go to the home section and make sure the competitor will be added on the home menu so that we can access it in the mobile application. I save this last change, hit publish, and then again the same thing needs to be done. So I need to synchronize the mobile application to actually bring the new competitor entity to the mobile application. Okay, I forgot to bring the application, but the thing this time was very quick because we didn't have to download all the maps again. So I got the same message, application was updated. Now, almost in the middle of the screen, you can see these new item competitors. This is my view. I kept it very simple. I'm just showing the names of the competitors. It's a scrollable list or view. And then when I go into the detail, you can see the 2 tabs, Info tab with just 3 fields, name, modified on, created on, and the Address tab with all fields that define the address, just like I defined them in the Woodford Designer. So that's all it took to add a new entity into the mobile application. Of course, you can do a lot more, and you probably have seen all the different buttons and options as part of the view designer and form designer as well. So this was just very basic, but as you can see, using the Woodford tool is kind of very simple and very intuitive. And that's it for my demo. And I know we have a lot of questions, so let's go into that part now and start with all those. So the first question, is there a new feature limitation for on-premise versus Azure Cloud installations? Right now for the solution that we provide to our customers, we support all installations of Dynamics CRM back to 2011. Of course, the features or functionality for the Dynamics 365, let's say version 9 customers, that they might want to have those on a mobile device, they will not work for customers who have the older version of Dynamics CRM. But we, in terms of all Resco stuff, all Resco functionality, want to make sure that it's available to as many users as possible and customers as possible. So when I, for example, talked about route planning or auditing or security, all those things are actually available for all of our customers. And if they're not fully dependent on Azure functionality, such as Azure authentication that will come in the future, then those are available for all of our customers, no matter whether they're on-premise, online, in the Azure Cloud. I hope that answers the question. Okay, next one. Are the surveys integrated into the standard solution? So right now the surveys are not integrated into the standard solution, and the plan is to release them as a new product in Q1 next year. So there will be a separate mobile application on the app stores and a separate designer tool that will allow you to create those surveys. Okay, that was already answered. Perfect. We're going to next questions. Do inspections have the capability to have data from CRM? That's a very good question on one of the new products. So yes, that's exactly the idea, to allow you to actually create the inspections and surveys on top of the data from Dynamics CRM. And we actually not only allow you to create the surveys on top of the entity, but you can create the surveys on top of the record. So you can go really, really deep and provide the surveys around records rather than just around entities. Another question: is it possible to synchronize first data and later media or files? Okay. I'm not 100% sure if that's possible. So I believe Francisco was asking, because we also have support for attachments that can be either stored as part of the notes entity annotation in CRM, but we also have integrations with SharePoint, for example. So the question is if we can synchronize data first and then the media and other files later. I'm not 100% sure, but we can definitely check with my colleagues from the support team. Another question: can multiple developers work on same project through Woodford? Yes, that's possible, and I think it's important to track the changes. I think we plan to provide some better control over that, so that you can see what was done by your colleague, for example, so that you don't override those changes. And again, I'll be happy to check with my colleagues where we are on that. Inspection, another question. Inspection currently doesn't support relations with work order, bookable resource. Booking is the bookable resource. Booking is the new version, is going to support this relation. Inspections has static list but no lookup concept. Inspection currently doesn't support relations with work order, bookable resource. Booking is the new version, is going to support this relation. Inspection has static list but no lookup concept. Okay, I'm not sure I found the question there, so let's just move on. Another question from Paul: will the extended functionality of the route planner be available as part of the sales service app, or will it only be a standalone offering? So that's something that we're figuring out, like if we should completely cut out the route planning functionality and only provide it as a separate solution, or if we keep it as part of the mobile application for sales and service technicians. More news on that very soon. In the same way, is it possible to synchronize offline maps in different time than data? Okay. Same answer to this one. We'll have to double check. And I know that we're kind of running out of time. So for all of those who need to go, I'll thank you very much for your attendance and hope you found the content useful and learned something new. For those of you who want to stay and I'll go through the questions until they're all answered. And then, of course, we will provide all the content on YouTube in a few days. So everything was recorded and will be uploaded to the YouTube channel. And we will notify you by email where to see the recording. So just very quickly, few more questions. Is Route Planner another solution like a product, or can I use it in mobile CRM? So similar to the previous one, right now it's part of the product. In the future, it will be a separate solution. The question whether it will remain in the current product will be defined later. Interesting question here. If we need to create an invoice in offline mode, how to make sure that the invoice number will not be duplicated on the dynamic CRM? Very interesting question. I actually don't know the exact answer, but I'll definitely share with my colleagues from the support team, because yes, Resco allows you to create invoices in offline mode. Is associated view In associated view, can I pass dynamics value in filter criteria from a record open in client? I'll be honest, that's a little bit too technical for my knowledge, but again, we'll do the same with our support team. Good question here. Can you add, or how do you add fields to the form from related entities? So Woodford allows you to do that. In the ribbon of the form designer, you have the access to the related entities, and you can also add fields from the related entities. That's fully supported. And let's say the last question. Can the mobile client have local tables which are not synchronized to the back office? I say I would probably need some more context, like how you plan to use it, or what would be the idea of other content that you would, or other records that you want to create. Simple answer is that the application is integrated with Dynamics 365. That's where we're grabbing the records from and synchronizing with. However, a few other examples are we have integration with SharePoint, Dropbox, Box, Microsoft Drive, I think. And there's also a way to provide access to external content such as enterprise portals, web portals, etc. through the iframe. So there will probably be a way to do that, to do it that way, but we will need some more context for that. Great. So I think that's it. We're really over time, but thank you again. As mentioned, we will pass the questions to our support team and try to answer as many of them as we can. And the recording will be available on YouTube, so you can get back to it later on in a few days, and we'll send an email to all of you. So thank you very much. Have a great rest of the day, and I hopefully see you at the next webinar that we're planning with Rick for January next year.